All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to bring you an update on Bitfarms, stock ticker BITF. They are a Bitcoin mining company. It is the first day of the month. I want to go through what they did in the month of October, and I want to talk about a bunch of stuff I like, and I want to talk about one thing that I'm not really a big fan of. I want to go into that, and you guys can decide for yourselves. So a lot going on here. We're shooting for 400 likes on this video. If you guys could do us a huge favor and smash the like button, it's been helping out a lot. You guys have been hitting a home run, smashing the like button, and we just reached 15,000 subscribers. So thanks to everybody for subscribing, smashing the like button, tuning in, leaving comments. It's much appreciated. Let's talk about Bitfarms. Okay, just to take a quick look, yesterday, which was Tuesday, Bitfarms closed at $1.05. That put them a little bit under a $300 million market cap. That is well off of their all-time highs. But really what I want to get to is the monthly operational report. That is the big news that dropped for Bitfarms today. And there's some things in there that they really have not talked about in their press releases before. So let's take a look. All right, November 1st, this morning, Bitfarms earns 398 Bitcoin in October of 2023. They mined 398 Bitcoin. You're going to see this is a little bit less than the month of September. The difficulty level went up significantly again in the month of October. I think that's the main reason this went down a little bit. However, when we look at a chart by month, you're going to see Bitfarms has been unbelievably consistent, one of the most consistent Bitcoin miners in the year 2023. So I was satisfied. This came in at just about my expectations. I was expecting plus or minus of 400, 398, close enough. So from that perspective, this met my expectations. A couple of highlights at the top before they get in. Reached 54 megawatts at Rio Cuarto facility and 240 megawatts total operating capacity. So those were their goals for 2023. Basically, they've reached those goals. Increased hash rate 3% to 6.3 exahash. That's not a gigantic increase, 3%. They were at 6.1 last month, but they continue to add slowly this year. They chip away, and they have increased their exahash quite a bit from the beginning of the year until now. With long-term and low-cost energy contracts totaling 574 megawatts, we still have significant room to expand our portfolio and build new farm infrastructure that would more than double our current 240 megawatts in production. So I think this is an important part of the Bitfarms story. 2023 was not a gigantic growth year for them. They did accomplish some other financial goals. 2022, and I don't want to revisit it, they did kind of have a big financial mistake that they made. I think they've basically completely fixed that at this point. So a lot of 2023 was about shaping up their balance sheet, and they have done so. We'll look at what they've done with their debt and their cash and all that. They're in a significantly better place right now than they were a year ago. That was their goal coming into the year. So while they've continued to chip away at additional capacity and additional actual operating exahash, they've significantly improved their balance sheet, in my opinion. But also, they have lined up, and a lot of this is new. There's a gigantic facility in Paraguay that is new this year, 150 megawatts of potential low-cost energy. So they've set themselves up long-term to continue to stay in this, top 5 or 6 or 7 Bitcoin miners. This gets them to 574 megawatts. Really, over 500 megawatts is where the large Bitcoin miners have set themselves up to get to. Some of them are already there. Others have plans on the drawing board. So Bitfarms leaves themselves in the conversation with the deals that they already have in place. What they don't have, they have a lot of infrastructure left to build out. And in my opinion, they have a lot of new machines to buy. So there's a lot of capital expenditures coming yet in the future. But like I said, they did spend 2023 shaping up their balance sheet, increasing their cash, drastically decreasing their debt to put themselves in a position to go get what they need. They also skipped the entire XP generation of Bitcoin miners. That's the latest and greatest Bitcoin miner that people were buying all year in 2023 and even late 2022. So that is by far the most popular Bitcoin miner out there. They chose to skip that and wait for the S21s. The S21s are even more energy efficient at around 17.5 joules per terahash. That's even better than the 21.5 joules per terahash that the XPs were at. And the actual overall network is still well over 30 exahash on the average. So you can see these new machines are a significant improvement. So Bitfarms spent the year shoring up their balance sheet. They skipped the XPs. I don't think you have to really read between the lines. It looks to me like they're going to spend the next year replacing a lot of their existing machines and going straight to the S21s. The one thing that I would say is I think they should strike sooner than later, because at the moment there are people making very, very good deals on these S21 miners, somewhere in the $14 per terahash range, which is less than people were paying for the XPs. The price of these miners has continued to plummet, so you never know what's going to happen in the future. Right now, the price is pennies on the dollar versus where it was a year and a half or 2 years ago. So in my opinion, I'm hoping to see very much sooner than later a press release from them announcing a big purchase order of these machines. I do think if they wait too long and they miss their window and the price of the machines go up, then they will have missed an opportunity. So time will tell. We're going to have to tune in and see what happens in the coming months, but I would like to see before the end of this year, I'm hoping that Bitfarms has an announcement that they've locked down a significant number of these machines. One of the things about Bitfarms is right now their cost per coin has crept up. A lot of that is due to the fact that they did not buy any new machines, basically, by and large, in the year 2023. They've been using older machines. So in doing so, they haven't spent any of their cash, and they've been able to pay down their debt almost in full. So this has left them in a position to strike and buy machines. But they do need these machines, because going into the halving, the machines that they have are not going to cut it. Their cost per coin is already too high. Now, they've got a few things that are going to change that dramatically if they can execute. They have these new power agreements, particularly in Paraguay. So as they continue to build that out, that's going to lower their cost per coin. Also, if they buy these S21 machines and swap out a lot of their existing fleet, that will obviously drastically decrease their cost per coin. So I think they need to do those two things. You can see, we'll read more of this operational report. You can see it appears to me that that is their plan. So let's keep reading. We've been steadfast this year in increasing our financial flexibility and strengthening our balance sheet while executing our 2023 growth plan. We have cost-effectively grown our hash rate and farm infrastructure while prudently paying down debt. Our disciplined strategy of careful timing fleet upgrades has embedded opportunity as next-generation miners coming to market now could generate dramatic production increases in our existing state-of-the-art facilities. So here they talk about dramatic production increases, but they're going to do two things. Not only dramatically increase their production with the same amount of facilities, but this will reduce their cost per coin, which is even more important, in my opinion, going into the halving. So I like this strategy. This is the good part of what I think they're doing. In short, we're well positioned to invest for the remainder of 2023 and into 2024 and take advantage of disruptive opportunities around the April halving. That all from Jeff Morphy, the CEO. So this is why I'd like to see sooner than later, sometime before the end of the year, I'd really like to see them lock down some of these S21 machines at a low cost and strike while the opportunity exists. Okay, Ben Gagnon, their chief mining officer, who we have had on the channel. Thanks, Ben. He adds, we remain disciplined in our approach to growth and capital expenditures, which has made us well positioned to take full advantage of the acquisition of new gen miners announced October 2nd, 2023. If I go way down to October 2023 financial updates, you're going to see they sold 341 Bitcoin of the 398. So once again, they added 57 Bitcoin to treasury. So they've been adding somewhere between 50 and 60 Bitcoin to their treasury. This leaves them with 760 Bitcoin on the balance sheet. While it's nice that that is growing, they're not going to have a gigantic hodl position. This should leave them in a spot to get over 1,000 going into the halving, but they're taking a different approach. So I want to talk about the next line here. Initiated our synthetic hodl strategy with the purchase of 35 long-dated Bitcoin call options. Okay, so they do have an investor presentation that's extremely detailed. It's somewhere between 80 and 100 pages long that they put out. I have not done a deep dive on this yet as far as a video goes, but I have read this entire presentation, and in it they go very in-depth into a new strategy. They have a risk management officer. They're trying to give themselves exposure to Bitcoin without actually having Bitcoin hodled on their balance sheet. And essentially what they're doing is buying call options on Bitcoin. I'm not going to do a deep dive on this. This is probably at least 10 pages of their presentation. So, it's a semi-complicated thing, but it really boils down to the fact that instead of hodling Bitcoin, they're taking a much smaller amount of money and they're buying options on Bitcoin in the future after the halving, assuming that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up and leaving themselves exposure to the potential upside upside, while quantifying the downside risk. I don't really like this, I'm going to tell you. So I'm a big fan of Bitfarms. I have continued to add to my own personal position, not financial advice. I'm just letting you know that I do invest in this company. So I'm not telling you to buy this company or sell this company. You guys got to decide that for yourselves. I'm just saying, as an investor, I don't love this, and I will say that I think they've gone down this path before. Now, this is a much, much more measured approach, but early in 2022, they borrowed a significant amount of money and they bought Bitcoin with that, assuming that the price of Bitcoin was going to go up. That left them massive exposure. It took them a year to fix that problem. They are past that problem now, but to me, I think this is the type of stuff that I don't love. I would rather see them stay focused on buying machines and organic growth. If they want to grow inorganically, then maybe, acquire other facilities, but hedging their bets and buying calls, to me, Bitfarms is not a hedge fund. I understand that they have a risk management officer who's trying to make sure that there's more upside here than downside, but I don't like this. That's just my personal opinion. So, I try to make these videos and share my thoughts with you guys. So for me, I'm not a big fan of this. Drop down in the comments whether or not you like the fact that they're increasing their exposure to potential upside to Bitcoin here in what they consider a risk management type of a way where they're limiting their downside. Let me know if you like this or if you dislike this. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me on this one? I don't think this is the major thing at all that's driving a buying decision on this stock or not, but I disagree with this decision. Okay, more importantly, the next one, they reduced total outstanding indebtedness by $1.9 million. They've been doing this month after month. What was once over $100 million of debt will be gone before the halving. This is all the strategy that they're looking at, and I think they've made a lot of steps towards getting there, and in the meantime, they've been a highly efficient Bitcoin miner. Every single month of the year, Bitfarms was either tied for first for the most efficient miner or alone in first place for the most efficient miner. So this year has been an extremely efficient year for Bitfarms. This is market cap by Bitcoin miner as of last Friday. Now remember, these numbers are not perfect. I do my best to get the latest and greatest information on these, but these seem to be relatively accurate. You're going to see Bitfarms is way down here in 7th place at $307 million market cap. From a market cap standpoint, there's a lot of room for Bitfarms to grow. They have had much higher market caps than this in the past. All the Bitcoin miners are way off of their all-time high market caps, so I like this situation. I think this is one of the reasons I think they're lagging behind a little bit. So if we go to the chart and take a look at Bitfarms, you're going to see there's a couple of lines. So the first price target that I'm going to look at is if they just get back to their highs from August of 2023, that's just a few months ago. Bitcoin was at around $31,000 at that point. Bitcoin's now at around $34,000 to $35,000. So that would be a 43% increase from here just to get back to their August highs from this year. So if we go back just a little bit further, July 14th was the high for the year for all the Bitcoin miners. It was also the high for the year for Bitcoin prior to recently when Bitcoin has taken out that high. So at that time, just 4 months ago, Bitfarms was over $2 a share. That's a 107% increase from where they are right now just to get back to their July highs from 4 months ago. Again, Bitcoin's higher than it was. I think Bitfarms operationally has done very well. I don't see any reason for this drastic pullback. Like I said, they're not alone. All the Bitcoin miners have had a similar fate over the last 14 or 15 weeks. So if they continue to do what they're supposed to do, I do think that a double on this in the short term, sometime between now and before the halving, in my opinion, is very realistic. So not financial advice. These are high risk investments. We've seen that. The last 14 weeks have proved that. Most of these Bitcoin miners, including Bitfarms, are off pretty drastically in the last 14 to 15 week period. But you'll see if I go back to March of 2023, that would be about a 34% pullback. So there's obviously always risk and reward involved in these. So please be very careful investing in Bitfarms or any of the Bitcoin miners. So I just want to reiterate, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. Invest wisely. That's what I got for you on Bitfarms. This is always the first Bitcoin miner of the month to update their operations. So a lot more of these to come. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the other updates, their October results. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.